Alright, well, the big yellow box truck is gone, obviously. I don't need to tell you that, right? You. I just got this all loaded up right here. And what little bit remains, that's got to go. That's for Mr. Scrappity. This ain't no knackle. This here ain't no knackle in Ohio. Yeah, where former greatness once stood, no longer is. If you would spend less time, that would be like Bert from Scrap Farm. If you would spend less time on your videos complaining, not complaining, about poverty, maybe you would be somewhere. I ain't going anywhere. Sat there for years and no engine leaks or anything like that. Ain't that amazing? Probably the only vehicle I ever had that, wow, you could hear that. Sounds like a buzzsaw. The only leak it had after all those years was a little bit of hydraulic fluid from the rear brake. That's about it. Yoo-hoo, right? That's a wall of shame if I ever seen any. Oh, I'll be gone though. Just give it a little more time. Hydraulic fluid leaking all over. They came to get the red car, that's gone. I got a few items right there that I might be able to sell. Maybe. Toolbox, left one toolbox. That's probably going in the scrap pile because it's pretty beat. That's about it. There ain't nothing to show. I'm all hollowed out. To get that red car out, because I didn't have a key for it, we had to punch a hole through the wall here and tie a chain to my truck. All that's left is a skid mark. All that was all dreams, never materialized. I really have no excuses. That's missing a drawer, otherwise I was gonna sell that. So, just end up as scrap, probably. There's nothing in it really, other than some people tried breaking in, so I had to board up the door there, and then the frickin' neighbor next door, half the power went out, and he wouldn't turn the fuse back on. You're going to burn down my building. My building. I'm like, your building? So this doesn't work anymore. So I have half power. So this is all jerry-rigged. So anybody that wants to can just break in now. I don't care, there ain't nothing in there. You. Nothing worth claiming anyway. Oh well. Oh well. So in order to keep this channel going, I'm just gonna have to like, what should I do? Like show reruns over and over, or King, every day with a channel like yours is like Groundhog Day anyway. That's not me, that's Bert. Bert told me that once. This guy gave me these giant bins of nails and stuff like that. He's like, let's just dump them in your truck. I'm like, nope. Put them all in this bin here. Actually, I shouldn't even pick that. I shouldn't pick up anymore, and that was the pallet man call it helium steel, like this, and tangle steel. So there's 3 categories that aren't really worth picking up: nails and screws, helium steel, and tangle steel, like, you know, like that chicken wire, tomato cage stuff. I don't think those guys like to pick that up, like Pallet Man and a few other people that post fairly regularly, which is pretty smart because, all right, I picked this up once at the curbside, twice in the car, 3 times now because it fell out of the bucket. And at least I'm going to be picking it up a couple more times because I got to pick that up to put it in the truck. That's if it doesn't fall out again. I have to pick it up again at the yard. And no, I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining. Hey, anybody watch that? There's always a giggle in my voice, and it always irritates quite a few commenters and YouTubers. But you know that Tom from the iScrap app guy, you know, and like he posted an instant video of like copper prices falling, right? You're gonna have to pick this one up 6 times, King, for throwing it on the ground deliberately. Yep. Remember years ago, he made that prediction of $5 American money, $5 copper at the scrapyard. Canada being an exception because the dollar there is worth less. Not worthless, it's just worth less. So $5 copper in Canada could be a possibility. But it never happened here, and that was like 8 years ago that guy made that prediction. And I made fun of it back then. And with the prices falling rapidly like they are, it ain't happening. And you know what? This is just one man's opinion, which you will not hear from anybody else that's a scrapper on YouTube. Let's think this one through real quick. It's better that copper is not $5 a pound if you're a regular, like, find it at the curbside type of scratch and pick type scrapper, and you're not like a tradesman. If you're a tradesman, you probably would like $5 or $6 copper. But if you're a regular scrapper, yeah, you probably would like $5 or $6 copper too. But if it ever gets to be that high, you can expect the politicians to pass all kinds of new laws regarding more valuable materials and even possibly steel too. where you would need like licensing and permits and pay fees, and you would have to be a tradesman. Because there are some places in the country, I guess I've had commenters say, like Georgia, you have to be a tradesman or something like that in order to turn in copper and parts of air conditioning systems. And so the $5 per pound copper would not do a lick of good for your common everyday curbside scrapper, unless you got yourself some faux permit or claim to be some kind of tradesman or something like that. I guess that's what it would be forced into. That would mean you'd probably have to go for certification classes or go to school. Yeah, see, more money to go try. No. It's better that it's just the way that it is. And all the wasps flying around, because they had like a couple of huge wasp nests in my box truck. And now they don't have a home, and they're like flying around all aggressively all over the place. King, we've looked at your garbage over and over again. I don't know, I'm panicking for my YouTube channel. I'm not gonna have any material. Make it knackle, like Mr. Scrapperty. Yeah, I don't know if that would work, but yeah, guess we could do that. Well, this is just a continuation of an ongoing thing where eventually, like I've been predicting for the past couple of years, I'm going to end up homeless and living on the streets. Partly because the price of scrap is falling, and it's going to stay that way, okay? Because the American economy is dead. It's dead. Or at least certain segments of it are. Not all of it, but we'll get into a profitable segment. Well, it's just going to keep getting worse because there's people like with white collar jobs that won't have a job, and they're going to be looking for your job. Because artificial intelligence legitimately, for real, is actually taking, at first I didn't believe it, but it really is taking jobs away. So what are you supposed to do? I have to keep the heat going, because otherwise the temperature gauge, if it gets a little bit much past a quarter, the vehicle begins to boil over and overheat. So the quick fix is just to suffer and turn the heater on and leave it at that. The proper fix is to, I don't know, take it apart, get tools, probe, try and find out what's wrong. For a car that has complete manual reverse, see? Look at that. Why is it so filthy? I don't know, because I'm a scrapper. That's no excuse. It really is dirty. Wow, I didn't realize it was so dirty, but it is dirty. So I'm going to put it in reverse right there. And I have a truly manual reverse transmission. We're on like the terrain is not the best here at the compound. Plus, if you've ever tried to push a car backwards the way I'm doing it, I do all that kind of physical stuff, yet I consider myself physically pretty weak. Like, I could not win a fight with somebody. All it would take is one sucker punch and I'm out. So yeah, I'm not gonna I don't know. For a car that doesn't have reverse gear, plus it's got a whole list of other problems. Like, hear that? That's the rear axle being held on with ratchet straps. Look at this. It seems insane that the landlord kicked everybody out. Just about, except for, I don't know, that guy that's got that trailer there. Wow, look at that bird that's on top of that Range Rover. What the heck is that? What's with those Range Rovers? They never seem to run. Anywho, it says made in China, but my dyslexia at first thought it said made in Cuba. That's part of my old workbench and some other wood shit. And I guess the landlord decided he's just going to burn it all. Oh well. You right? What's going on here, boss? Well, that truck driver guy is still here. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Well, this used to have a barrier here. The barrier is gone. You used to not be able to drive through over here. Wherever. I don't want to leave this place, but we are, I guess. about that? Alrighty. Well, we're gonna leave the compound here and